Hello students, I am Dr. Bindya Sharma and I welcome you all to the fourth and last lecture of the topic polymer. In the third lecture, we have learnt about the important members of polymers which included fibers and plastics. In this lecture, we will learn about rubbers. Natural rubber, which is also called as India rubber, latex, Amazonian rubber, etc., consists of polymers of organic compound, which is isoprene, with some other impurities of organic compounds and lot amount of water. Rubber is harvested mainly in the form of latex from different type of rubber trees. The latex is a sticky, milky colloid which is drawn by the bark of the trees by making incisions and collecting the fluid in the containers, and the process is called as tapping. After collection of the tapped latex, the rubber is recovered by the process of coagulation by using formic acid, and it forms crumbs. The crumbs or sheets are then washed, they are dried between the rolls and are formed into blocks. The blocks are then wrapped in polyethylene sheets and then packed. The natural rubber suffers from few drawbacks, like it gets softened on heating and hardened on cooling. It is tacky, odor, and perishable. These weaknesses or drawbacks were then removed by the process of vulcanization. The monomer of natural rubber is cis polyisoprene unit, as shown in the slide. Now let's see the process of vulcanization of rubber and its advantages. The vulcanization made the modern rubber industry possible by permitting a wide variety of use of natural rubber in the manufacture of tires for automobiles. The process of vulcanization was accidentally invented by Charles Goodyear in the year 1839. He found that by heating the rubber with sulfur or sulfur compounds could enhance the property and overcome the drawbacks of natural rubber. So, the process of vulcanization can also be defined as curing of elastomers. In the process of vulcanization is done by heating the natural rubber by sulfur or sulfur compounds at a temperature of about 150 degrees Celsius for few hours. The vulcanization process converts natural rubber into either soft rubber or hard rubber, depending on the percentage of sulfur being added. It can extend from 5% to 30%. The sulfur forms cross-linking, which gives strength to natural rubber. The vulcanized rubber is 10 times stronger and rigid than natural rubber, but still it is elastic. The process of vulcanization can be easily understood by the reaction. As you can see here, the unvulcanized rubber is formed in the form of strings. This is the rubber molecule which is there present in the form of the strings. On addition of sulfur, the loose strings are being cross-linked by this sulfur, and this process is named as vulcanization of rubber. The same vulcanization of rubber can be understood by this reaction. This is polyisoprene, that is natural rubber. On reaction with sulfur or sulfur compounds, you can easily see here the sulfur forms bridge between the chains or spiral chains of the polyisoprene units, thus forming cross-linked. The various properties or advantages of vulcanized rubber are: it has good tensile strength, It has excellent resilience capacity, that is, it regains its original shape. It possesses low water absorption tendency and high resistance to oxidation, wear and tear, and abrasion. It has good electrical insulation properties and it has very low tackiness. It is highly resistant to organic solvents, fats, and oils. It can be used up to the temperature range from minus 40 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. The few uses of vulcanized rubber are: most rubber products in the world are vulcanized. Vulcanized rubber is used to make rubber hoses, shoe soles, tires, bowling balls, hockey, toys, erasers, and various musical instruments. The vulcanized rubber is used for making bicycle, automobile, aeroplane tires, soles, conveyor belts, shock absorbers, machinery, and automobile parts. The vulcanized rubber found its use in insulation properties by insulating the wires and cables. Now, moving on to synthetic rubbers. Several synthetic rubber have captured the natural rubber market nowadays as they are tailor made. The two important members of synthetic rubber are styrene rubber and nitrile rubber. Styrene rubber is abbreviated as BUNA S and nitrile rubber is abbreviated as BUNA N. So now let's see both the rubber one by one. We'll start with styrene rubber, BUNA S. It is a copolymer formed by the emulsion polymerization of a mixture of 1,3-butadiene and styrene in the presence of peroxide catalyst at 5 degrees Celsius, and therefore the product is named as cold rubber. It is further vulcanized with sulfur. So there are two different monomers. One is 1,3-butadiene and the other is styrene, which on polymerization in the presence of sodium gives butadiene styrene copolymer, abbreviated as SBR or BUNA S. BU stands for butadiene, Ne for sodium, and S for styrene. Let's see important properties of BUNA S. BUNA S has good abrasion resistance and fatigue. It has good strength, good resilience property, high tensile strength, low resistance to oil and other hydrocarbons. The temperature range for its use is from minus 40 to 100 degrees Celsius. Moving on to the important uses of BUNA S. It is used in the manufacture of car tires, threads, motorcycle and scooter tires, cycle tires, and tubes. It is also used for the manufacture of conveyor belts, footwears, shoe soles, hoses, and electrical insulation. Now let us see the second important synthetic rubber, which is nitrile rubber or BUNA N. Nitrile rubber is a synthetic rubber copolymer of acrylonitrile and butadiene. Nitrile rubber or BUNA N is formed by the polymerization of two different monomers, buta-1,3-diene and acrylonitrile, as shown in the slide, resulting in the formation of BUNA N. The few important properties of BUNA N are: it is resistant to oil, fuel, and many other chemicals. It has high tensile strength and has excellent abrasion and compression resistance. It is also resistant to heat, water, and gases. But it can be attacked by ozone, ketones, esters, and aldehydes. It also has poor resistance to ozone, sunlight, and weathering. It can withstand a wide range of temperature starting from minus 40 to approximately 108 degrees Celsius. Its important uses includes it can be used for making rubber products for automotive and industrial units. The uses of nitrile rubber includes mostly the manufacture of non-latex gloves, automotive transmission belts, hoses, O-rings, gaskets, V-belts, synthetic leather, cable jacketing, etc. It is ideal material for aeronautical application. Buna and latex is also used in preparation of adhesive. Now let's see important biodegradable polymer, their advantages and applications. As we know that mostly the polymer, especially the plastics, are harmful for the environment and are not eco-friendly. So now emphasis is being and research is being carried out for making or manufacturing eco-friendly polymers. And in this category lies the biodegradable polymer. As the name itself indicates that the polymer lying under this category can be degraded easily, whereas the plastics cannot be degraded naturally. So, the biodegradable polymers are defined as polymers which comprises of monomers linked to one another through functional groups. These polymers are found both naturally and few are synthetically made. They have largely the functional groups such as esters, amides, and ethers. They are broken down easily into biologically acceptable molecules and can also be removed from our body by normal metabolic pathways. Some important properties of biodegradable polymers are they are inert, permeable, biodegradable, and possess good tensile strength. They can be synthesized by condensation reactions, ring opening polymerization, and metal catalyst. Let us now look at the classification of biodegradable polymers. Biodegradable polymers come from various sources such as agro resources, microorganisms. They come from biotechnology or can be obtained by classical chemical synthesis. Few examples are polysaccharides, proteins, PHA stands for polyhydroxyalkanoate, PLA, polylactides, PCl, polycaprolactone, etc. Now looking at the advantages of biodegradable polymers. The biodegradable polymers have localized delivery of drug, sustained delivery of drug. They have stabilized drug. Therefore, they have wide application in the field of medicine. They have very less side effects. They are not having very high cost. That is, they are cheap, non-toxic, and biodegradable. Few applications of biodegradable polymers are they are used for gene therapy, drug delivery, in nanomedicine, and have wide medical applications. Biodegradable polymers are used for tissue engineering, vascular, orthopedic, skin adhesive, to make surgical glues. They are also used to make packaging materials, shopping bags, waste bags, etc. They find their use in medical applications like drug delivery system and for preparation of wound clips. They have therapeutic use also in anti-tumor, anti-inflammatory agents, etc. Now let us compare the two different types of plastics. The plastics we have already covered in the lecture, third. Now let's see the difference between thermoplastic and thermosetting. So as we know that there are two different type of category of plastics. One which can be easily molded and has high impact of heat on them. And the other is thermosetting, which cannot be remolded and they are resistant to heat. So the basic difference between thermoplastic and thermosetting are thermoplastic are usually formed by addition of polymerization, whereas thermosetting plastics are formed by condensation polymerization. Thermoplastic contain long chain linear polymers and are attracted by weak van der Waals forces, whereas thermosetting plastics have strong covalent bond and has a 3D network structure. Thermoplastics become soft on heating and stiff on cooling. Thermosetting does not become soft on heating. Thermoplastics are expensive, thermosetting are cheap. Thermoplastic is soluble in organic solvents, whereas thermosetting are insoluble in organic solvents. Thermoplastics are soft, weak, and less brittle, whereas thermosettings are hard, strong, and more brittle. Thermoplastics can be remolded, thermosettings cannot be remolded. Few examples of thermoplastic are polythene, PVC, etc. Few examples of thermosetting plastics are bakelite. Now let us see one more difference. The difference between addition and condensation polymerization. Addition polymerization is also known by the name chain polymerization, and condensation polymerization is also known as step growth polymerization. Let us see example of addition polymerization like ethylene, acetylene, etc. For condensation polymerization, we can name as a few examples like nylon 6,6, an excellent example of step growth polymerization. In addition polymerization, the monomer add on to give a polymer and no byproduct is formed. Whereas in condensation polymerization, the monomers condense together with the release of byproducts, a small molecule like water, methane, alcohol, etc. In addition polymerization, number of monomer unit decreases steadily. In condensation polymerization, monomers disappear in early stage. In addition polymerization, molecular weight is an integral multiple of molecular weight of monomer, whereas in condensation polymerization, the molecular weight of polymer need not to be an integral multiple of monomer. And in addition polymerization, high molecular weight polymers are formed. In condensation polymerization, molecular weight rises steadily throughout the reaction. By addition polymerization, thermoplastics are produced, whereas by condensation polymerization, thermosetting plastics are produced. Examples of thermoplastics, polythene, PVC, and example for condensation, bakelite, urea formaldehyde, nylon 6,6. Now here, in this slide, you can go through few plastics recycling symbols. And in the current slide, you can see the time to litter or to biodegrade various different type of polymers. Please go through the slide carefully and read it. So with this, we come to the end of the topic polymer. Hope it was beneficial for you. Good luck and thank you.